You are watching the Doctalk show.
Welcome back. With me in studio is our celebrated nutritionist, Dr. Kasenene, to tell us more about how to lose excessive weight. As you all know, obesity and overweight is a growing concern around the world, with more than about 2 billion people worldwide suffering from the condition of being overweight and obese. So, Dr. Kasenene, in your career, you have majored in nutrition and weight reduction. People will be curious to know, first of all, what is the ideal weight for an individual? Maybe we'll start from there.
Okay, so there's two ways to look at this. There's something we call the body mass index, which is a ratio of your weight to your height. And the body mass index really is about trying to know how much weight should your skeleton hold, because it looks at what's your height and your skeleton frame and how much weight should your skeleton hold. Now, the normal body mass index, I'll just specify, is a number between 18 to 25. But the way you arrive at that is by getting your weight in kilograms.
Weight in kilograms.
And then you divide that by your height in meters squared. So that means you get your weight in kilograms, divide it by your height in meters, and then divide by your height in meters again.
So what does this BMI tell us, the one of 18 to 25?
So the BMI of 18 to 25 is the normal range. Now, on the flip side, if you want to know what your healthy weight range is, okay, you get your height in meters. For example, my height in meters is 1.73 centimeters, okay? I multiply that by 1.73 again, and then I multiply it by the two ranges. So I'll first multiply it by 18, and then I'll multiply it by 25. So that will give you a healthy weight range. So for example, 1.73 times 1.73 times 18.
Which is the lowest?
The low, yes. Okay. That will be about 55 for me.
So that means 55 should be your least?
Yes, that's the lower healthy range. Okay. And then 1.73 times 1.73 times 25 will give you the maximum range. And for me, that's about 73, 74 kilos. So my healthy weight range would be between 55 to about 74 kilograms. Okay. And so everybody can calculate their BMI or their healthy weight range using this. So it requires that somebody should know their height, okay? However, I must say that the height has limitations, especially for Africans, because not every one of us is tall. And so if you look at your weight only based by BMI, you find that your healthy weight range is usually very small. And so you find that to achieve the healthy weight range, sometimes you find that you'll be very small. So what we think is important is not to just focus on the BMI, but to go further and find out what percentage of your body weight is fat and what percentage is muscle. So usually for a man, the healthy body fat percentage range is 10 to 20%, generally.
The healthy
body fat percentage.
Body fat percentage?
Yes.
Is 10 to 20?
For a man, yes. And for a lady, it's usually between 20 to 35%.
Why is it higher for the ladies than the men?
It's mainly because of ladies have the extra privilege of having children. And so the body always needs a bit of extra fat as a cushion, just in case during pregnancy you have a bit of food shortages, the body will have that extra cushion. Okay. So the ladies actually are allowed a larger percentage of fat and still considered normal. So when somebody checks their weight, it should not only be a case of having a normal BMI. It should also be, are you having the right body fat percentage and body muscle percentage?
So in that note, it's possible to have a normal BMI between the 18 to 25, but when your fat levels are too high.
Yes, it is. We've seen very often people who have a normal body mass index, a normal weight according to BMI, but still have a higher fat percentage. And such a person is technically overweight.
So how do they measure this excessive fat? Because we can't calculate it now.
Yeah, so there's a body composition scale that somebody can actually get on, and it can actually measure this for you. But I also wanted to say that on the flip side, some people who may be slightly overweight according to the body mass index scale, if they have the right percentage of body fat, then technically they are okay. So it's important to look at your weight in terms of your body mass index, but also in terms of your body fat percentage.
Many people are concerned that they fail to lose weight. They fail to get rid of that extra fat. Let's say their BMI is like 29, 30, 35. What causes people to, to fail to lose weight?
So the most prevalent thing we see is that people are not eating right, okay? But for those who are eating right, there are some real, what we call hidden obstacles. And I'm just going to mention a few of them.
Maybe before we go to those obstacles, what do you mean by not eating right? What is that?
So like I mentioned earlier, if you're eating boiled food, you may think that you're eating healthy. But if you're eating a large percentage of matoke and potatoes and pumpkins and yams on your plate, even if it's boiled, you're going to get more calories than you need. So sometimes you think you're eating right, but actually you're getting too many calories, even if the food is not necessarily prepared in an unhealthy way. So sometimes it's just getting the proportions of food correct on your plate, and then you'll be able to start to see the weight loss.
So even if someone doesn't eat the fast foods, the cakes and what, they're eating food from their garden, and they think this is a good enough amount to make them satisfied, even that will make them gain weight?
Yes, because the body should actually ideally get no more than a quarter, 25% of its energy needs from carbohydrate-rich foods. Most should be from non-starchy vegetables, low-calorie foods like fruits and vegetables, and legumes and seeds. So if you're eating healthy food, but the wrong proportions, yes, you can actually still gain weight, even though you think you're eating healthy food.
And what would be the right proportion now of the healthy food?
So generally, 50% of the plate ideally should be vegetables and or fruit. You don't always have to mix them, but 50% should be vegetable. We're talking about cabbage, sukuma wiki, tomatoes, eggplants, things like that. A quarter of your plate should be the energy-rich carbohydrate foods, like pumpkin, sweet potatoes, matoke, yams, potatoes. And then a quarter of your plate should be what we call the sauce, mostly legumes like beans or peas or groundnuts.
Those are the proteins.
Yes. Okay. And sometimes a little bit of animal foods, local chicken and fish. So once you get the proportion right, then you find that you will be more likely to maintain a healthy weight.
So it means someone can, there are certain myths around nutrition. People say you shouldn't eat fats. People say you shouldn't eat red meat. So in your opinion, are those healthy foods?
So animal foods are not unhealthy. That's what we should, they are not unhealthy. However, the human being does not need more than 10% of their food from animal foods. Okay?
They don't need more than
10%.
To mean what?
So
they shouldn't eat a lot of the animal food?
Yes, our human beings, we are primates. Our digestive systems are primed for plants. And so if you look at the digestive system, it's long and coiled, and that means food takes between 24 to 72 hours from when you eat it until the residues come out. This is very important because with that long transit time, we find that animal foods go bad after 8 to 12 hours. And in 8 to 12 hours, food is always still within our digestive system, especially in our colon. So we are finding that animal foods are not the best foods for human beings. That said, we still can benefit from some animal foods. But 10% of the diet, in my opinion, is no more than 2 to 3 times a week. And even when you want to eat animal foods, just to answer your question, I would say let's focus not on red or white, but how healthy the animal is. And so if you eat red meat like goat, people may say that's unhealthy, but you'd rather eat goat than eat a broiler chicken that has been caged and fed feeds that are high in antibiotics and growth hormones. And so it's not just about red or white, it's how healthy is the animal. But at the end of the day, only 10% of your diet. And in all honesty, the fat in animal foods is not going to be a problem to you if the animal is reared naturally and if it's only 10% of your diet.
So now, but just quickly, as you summarize, in your experience, what are the common causes of failure to lose weight, apart from eating badly?
So non-medically, the first is trying to lose weight through exercise only without diet. Many people are exercising, but they don't change their diet, and they think that I can lose weight because I've exercised harder. Exercise sometimes can even make you gain weight even when you eat right, because you build muscle. So the first obstacle is I'm exercising, but I'm not changing my diet. The second thing is you're not drinking enough water. Your body needs hydration, at least 2 to 3 liters a day, depending on your size. People who are not getting enough water struggle with weight loss. The third thing is poor sleep. If you don't get enough sleep, if you sleep only 4 to 5 hours, maybe 5 to 6 hours, you're going to be more hungry and you're going to require more energy than somebody who sleeps 7 to 8 hours.
So people should sleep more.
Yes, if you don't sleep enough, you need to eat more to stay alert. And then medically, there are things like the first I'll say is a thyroid problem. Everybody should actually see a doctor and should have an evaluation. Hypothyroidism is a condition where your thyroid slows down. The thyroid controls energy. So if you have, yes, so if you have a slow thyroid, you will gain weight, even if you are eating right. The other thing is hormonal imbalances. If you have a hormonal imbalance, you will sometimes struggle. And that's why it's important, if you're failing to lose weight, go and see a doctor, go and see somebody who can guide you and evaluate these things. This ties in very much with contraception or hormonal contraception. Yes, family planning. Because some of these family plannings are based on hormones, and these hormones can actually make you gain weight, if not fail to lose weight. A few other things we won't go into much detail. The first of the others is vitamin D deficiency. Vitamin D comes from the sun, but vitamin D deficiency can really be an obstacle to weight loss. So everybody on a weight loss program should have vitamin D tested. What I'm going to say is there are many, many other obstacles, medications like high blood pressure medications, steroids if you have asthma. Everybody should go and see somebody, a nutritionist or a nutrition-informed doctor, who can evaluate these. And I'll also say that this is what we do in our weight loss programs. We don't just give generalized plans. We evaluate each person and see if they have any real obstacles that they need to address.
Okay, words of wisdom for our nutritionist, Dr. Paul Kasenene. We'll be back shortly after the break to talk more about weight loss and nutrition. We'll take you to our live studio to show you the types of foods you should be eating, as well as to interact with some of the patients who have benefited from our weight reduction program. Don't go away, stay tuned.
You are watching the Doctalk Show.